Hi, Caitlin. How you doing? I have one word. Wow, these are just fantastic. I cannot believe how much you have grown in the last few weeks. This is incredible. This is a fantastic shot. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on. I think the exposure, what you're going for, this kind of gritty look on some of them, but not all of them. It's smart. It's smart. I mean, you can't get a gritty look on her. She doesn't have a gritty look on her face. I mean, this is a weathered older man. So you're showing that in your narrative, and that's incredible. It's really, really done very, very well. I love the crop. Rule of thirds, you're right there. You've been paying attention to chapter 6. That's fantastic. Each one is cropped very similarly. Each one has a very, very interesting and unique feel in and of itself, which loans to the body of work, so to speak, the package. The expressions are just priceless. Um, this one is just, I think this one might be my favorite. This is fantastic, just fantastic. Focal point, depth of view, I'm sorry, focal point and depth of field, your depth of field, and just really, really good stuff. Nice soft focus in the background on each of them, which doesn't add too much distraction to the portrait itself. So that's really a good, consistent way to go there. Now, one of the things I do have to mention is this. Now, you've done something smart. Let me come in this to you. Okay, so each one is the exact same size. That's smart because it will create harmony in your presentation. That's smart. One of the things I would recommend, though, and I know I mentioned this earlier in one of your posts, but okay, look how much, okay, if you take a look at the negative space, okay, and here's the face, and that takes up this much of the composition. So this is your negative space right here, okay? Over here, you've got all of this negative space and this negative space here. Over here, you've got this and then this over here. So what's not consistent here? It's this image because you're too close to the face in comparison to the other portraits. Do you see what I'm saying? So, this is consistent. I'm sorry, this and this are somewhat consistent, although this is much closer. And then all of a sudden you get this extreme close up and then you back out again and you stay there. So 3 out of the 5 or 4 out of the 5 images are consistent, whereas this one is just too close. So that would be, I would consider that an inconsistency. There's only one other thing that's really bugging me, and that's this image right here. And the reason because the background, instead of, the background is really set at an angle. And that kind of adds a little bit of an uncomfortable visual tension to the portrait, because in reality, that wouldn't be. That would be straight. The viewer would be looking straight. Her head would be cocked more to the side. So it looks like you're trying to compensate the angle of her head by adjusting the whole angle of the image, which I think is a mistake because this is, as I said, this creates this really uncomfortable visual tension. Okay, and then the other thing is that this taken in direct sunlight right here, boom, right there, is just really distracting. It's blown out complete white, as are this and this. So that image has got some exposure issues that really, really speak to an inconsistency in presentation. So that's my only thing, is that there are just a couple of inconsistencies. Other than that, the work is phenomenal, and I'm just really super impressed. And I hope you're happy. I really do, because you've come so far. I mean, if you were to look at this image right here and say, 8 weeks ago, 2 months ago, at the beginning of class, when you were first looking at your camera, remember my first video when I was showing you the dials in the camera, and you're looking in your camera and you're going, I wonder what this does. And then you look at this and somebody would say, this is your image in 2 months. You would have said, no, I didn't shoot that. And you did, and you did. And it's fabulous. All right, great job. Love it so much. Very good. Thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know.